Remember when Chris Farley asked Paul McCartney if he was dead? Remember Stuart Smalley?
My brain is already filled with all of the shit for next week.
Next week is going to be fantastic, along with this episode.
Well, this story, I'm going to make sure we get through this shit. We're not getting sidetracked on juniors. We're getting through this story. A Russian woman living in New York City was sentenced to 21 years in jail for poisoning her similar-looking friend with sedative-laced cheesecake, then stealing her identification and other valuables.
Hot girls poison their friends. What's her name?
Her last name is Nazirova. Nazirova.
How do you spell it? Because I want to look up and see what she looks like.
Nazirova.
It's MILF.
Oh, yeah.
Russian.
Yep,
The
her
thing
last
is-
name is Nazirova.
I don't think you need a sedative for cheesecake. Cheesecake itself, rich, dense, creamy, dairy. It is in itself a sedative.
She poisoned them. It wasn't just making them sleepy.
No, I know, but you know.
Yeah, it was poisoned with a highly potent sedative that she hoped would cause this woman to die, and then she scattered pills around her body to make it look like a suicide.
She didn't even understand it's death by chocolate, not death by cheesecake.
No, I know that this woman was a dominatrix.
Yeah, at one point she was a dominatrix. Before we get into her background, though, let's get into the crime itself. Nazirova brought cheesecake over to beautician Olga Civik's home on August 28th, 2016.
Yes.
The two were close in age. Civic was 35, and they were also close in appearance. They both had dark hair, they had the same complexion, they had similar physical traits, and both of them are Russian speakers, although the woman in question is Russian and the victim is Ukrainian.
And if you look at them, you can see, same eyebrow structure. One has a bit of a plumper face, but the same eye color, which I actually think is really interesting. But you know, in Russia, cake cheeses you.
Well, Nazirova, I mean, she actually was pretty clever about this. She came over with the cheesecake.
How much cheesecake are we talking? Are we talking a slice?
We're talking-
Because I actually think it's offensive to bring a single person a full cheesecake.
No, here's what she did. She brought 3 slices. She sat down. She herself ate 2 pieces of cheesecake.
I'm so big and clumsy. I always force the food. Everywhere I go, I'm always consuming and grushing.
So wait, she ate 2/3 of the gift herself?
Yes, she ate 2 pieces of cheesecake first.
To show.
Then the 3rd slice, after she showed her how yummy the cheesecake was.
bulging. I'm
Russians.
full of all the different crime. I always get the gush.
So she brought 3 cheesecakes, ate 2 in front of this woman, and this woman's just sitting there like, why the fuck you bring cheesecake to eat at my house?
Then she offered the 3rd slice.
I could not
to
possibly eat 3 slices of cheesecake. I have ordered diarrhea this morning.
I believe it.
But you think about that. You watch this woman power eat 2 pieces of cheesecake. Honestly, it's more of a dare. It's more
It's
being
weird.
like, no, hey, I want one too.
Yeah.
Right, I guess so.
And so after this woman ate the 3rd slice of cheesecake, which was poisoned, and good on Nazirova for keeping track of which ones are poisoned and which ones
Mission
weren't.
Impossible.
Yes, I'm sure that one just has like a giant P on it for poison.
Yeah.
Also, my God, I will say that the Russians, plutonium, very good poisoners.
Oh, yeah.
Although I heard the sushi is kind of good. in Russia.
Well, I believe they're using.
That's what somebody said.
I believe it's polonium. The stuff
Polonium,
that they've
yeah.
been. It's
What did
this-
I say?
Plutonium.
But plutonium.
Oh, plutonium.
Well, it's because they use a powderized version of a radioactive material. You just saw another guy that was speaking out against the war, currently the Ukrainian war, of, Russia versus Ukraine. Another guy just mysteriously fell asleep and didn't wake up on a plane. Very, very sick.
Also-
Apparently, he was a critic of the war, and apparently it makes you real allergic to polonium.
That's so bizarre. Also, a bunch of people just jumping out of buildings.
Yeah, they really are.
Or
Yeah, I mean,
are they? They need Ace Ventura on the case.
Well, the woman who was the victim here, she felt sick after eating the cheesecake and went to lie down. She soon was violently vomiting. She was floating in and out of consciousness, and she was terrified that there was something wrong with her. Civic said that the last thing she remembered before passing out was seeing Nazarovia walking around her room. The next day, a friend of Civic's discovered her unconscious in bed with pills scattered around her body.
You see how often she takes the pills? She is like in that Mario Doctor game. When she goes, she trip
yeah.
and the pills, they pop out of her vagina.
But if she was trying to commit suicide, she would take them.
No, but that's the thing. I guess it was just some sort of pill explosion.
Pill
Oh.
attack. Someone came while she was sleeping at night, threw a handful of pills in her mouth.
So she was taken to the hospital for treatment under the assumption that she had tried to kill herself. But once she returned home, Civic realized that her passport and employment authorization card were missing, as were a gold ring and other unspecified valuables.
Man, that's why you always got to make sure we don't, again, we're not trying to encourage murder here, but complete the job. Like, this is all
she
about
thought that she did.
seeing things through.
You got to wait around until she stops breathing.
But then you're there way too long. Evidence mounts.
Technically, you feed her a bunch of the cheesecake. Once she's passed out, you put a plastic bag over her head. You duct tape the plastic bag around her face, and she doesn't fall. No, but then she just died. You remove the bag at the end because now she's dead.
I wonder if they could tell.
No, you just use a pillow. Plastic bag, there's way too much there's way too much residue left behind on that.
Depending if they decide that it looks suspicious. If it just looks like a suicide, you write a letter next to it going like, I will never ever be Snooki, no matter what I do. Like you write a fake suicide letter, you make her really sad. You push her lips down so it looks like she's frowning.
That's a good point. That's a good point.
No, but I think if you have the pills scattered around, if you have the cheesecake, if you have all of this, then I think you take the chance with the pillow that quite possibly no one is going to look into it, that they're just going to say like, okay, another suicide, let's move on.
Is this not true when it comes to Marilyn Monroe, that the pill bottles were full? And that's why people think the CIA killed her. Wasn't there something
over the place
where there was like a bunch of pills, and then they're like, well, if she took all the pills, why would there be a bunch of pills there?
We should probably do an episode at some point about the death of Marilyn Monroe.
I think we did. Didn't we do like an extra like after the JFK? Didn't we do like an?
No, we never did it.
We never did it.
We never did. We wanted to do it.
We wanted to do it, and we may one day. And so therefore,
I love it. Great.
I will not have an opinion on it because I have not looked into it enough to form.
There's a lot of stuff in there. There's a lot of stuff we don't know because, again, yes, one of the pill bottles could have been filled, but she probably could have burned through a bunch of them. She was doing them habitually, but then it was kind of surprising. But she built a certain tolerance over a period of time. Why now? Why true crime now?
True.
But wasn't she with Joe DiMaggio?
She was with a lot of the boys.
She was with Joe DiMaggio. She was also with what's his name, who wrote The Crucible.
Arthur Miller.
Yeah. And he was a rocket in the set.
Yeah, the Arthur Miller thing doesn't make any sense to me. I've never seen what he looks like. Is he a hunk?
Yeah, he's a handsome guy. Tropic of Cancer, Tropic of Capricorn.
Okay.
He wrote some very sexy novels.
That's Henry Miller.
Oh.
Arthur Miller is a unattractive playwright, but it was a real.
That's what I thought.
Marilyn Monroe said that what she loved about him was his intelligence. Marilyn Monroe was a type of person that Marilyn Monroe was a construct. It was a
Norma
character you
Jean.
just met. Yes, she was a very bright lady, and she actually felt that Arthur Miller brought that more out of her and took that side of her more seriously. I mean, he also loved Jumble and the Bumblies, but that's a part of it.
Yeah.
I mean, I feel the same way about Anna Nicole Smith, and she was the first person that we watched die for our entertainment.
Did you see the new
blood is on all of our hands.
Did you see the documentary?
No, I mean, I love her.
It's very sad. The documentary is very, very sad.
Did they go into the clown video?
Well, the clown video is classic, but the clown.
You don't remember the clown
video? She was
video?
dressed as a clown talking to her daughter, who was also dressed as. Technically, she was being fun mom.
No, she wasn't being fun mom. She was so incredibly fucked up on pills she could barely talk.
What her intention was to be fun mom.
I see, Henry, because what I remember, you got a confused look on your face. I remember way back in the days when we used to do those live shows at the Creek and the Cave, and we used to show videos that you wanted to show the Anna Nicole Smith clown video, and I argued against it, saying it was too sad. But you said, no, people are gonna love it. It's gonna be great.
What happened when he showed it?
I know it. People got really sad, and there was a strange silence that settled into the room.
Artists have to have a palette of many styles and flavors.
And this was actually before I was ever on stage with the two of you. This was when I was still back up in the booth. And
this is extremely sad. I'm looking at it right now. It even says here, sad clown footage of Anna Nicole Smith shows her wheeling a toy baby and pram into a house. But at the time, I thought things that were really sad were really funny because
as opposed to now.
I was angry. Now I'm way more like this. I am saddened.
Yes,
I'm saddened. And of course, her lawyer Howard Stern.
Yes,
and we've all grown over the years. Like for example, I don't find the video of the two Russian guys
swirling the grandmother around.
Yeah,
Hilarious.
I don't find that funny
Yeah, you
anymore.
do.
This actually is still funny
hilarious.
because
Yeah. She didn't die.
that's why that video is funny because of her noises. Because
Anyway.
again, I like that. It's funny. She lived. Yeah, she's not fucking dead.
Still, the saddest celebrity video ever leaked was David Hasselhoff eating that hamburger.
It was about holding a mirror up to him. But her new bodyguard, Momo, her bodyguard, is saying that Anna Nicole Smith actually played up the pill addiction way more for the cameras, which I think is actually not true.
No, I
Interesting.
think that she had a massive
Yes.
addiction.
Yeah,
but I
really
think that
good
Harvey, that Howard Stern character lawyer was feeding her. Anyway, that's a whole nother story.
There's a lot of people say he was actually kind of a weirdly good force in that home for a period of time because he was but it all came down to the weird baby thing. We don't know who the father of the son was. It's a long story. It's very sad.
Jerry Springer's dead and we'll never know.
That's right.
Let's get back to the cheesecake.